Hey, American Contractor, viewers of the American Contractor Show. I'm here with John Dye at Win the Storm, and I have to tell you, anyone that is associated with American Contractor Show, you are a badass.
Big shout out to American Contractor Show. If you don't know, you definitely need to check out the Storm Summit. They're doing it in excellence. Check them out.
Hey, what's up? This is your friend, Francisco Serrano. If you haven't checked it out, American Contractor Show, YouTube channel, Facebook channel, Twitter, Instagram, all the platforms, you need to go them, like them, start learning about your craft.
Hey, I'm Matt Danskin with Restoration Referral System. Check out the American Contractor Show. The truck that they've got is awesome. Everything else that they have going on.
This is Larry Bache with the Northern Law Group, helping policyholders for more than 30 years. If you have a claim or your client has a claim that needs help, please feel free to call the Northern Law Group because we are the true policyholder advocate.
C3 was eager to help us, and even whenever we weren't giving them work, they were still eager to give advice. The things that they were putting out for the changing from DMO to RFG and giving that to the industry and not charging anything for it, I thought was really cool. And that's stuff that I as a contractor appreciate. I'd recommend C3 to any contractor that's looking for a PA, especially if you're around Colorado. Great guys, man. I'm nothing but happy with the work they've done for us.
What's up, everybody? I'm meteorologist Andrea Myers, bringing you guys your daily hail forecast, sponsored as always by C3 Group, Merlin Law Group, and American Contractor Show. Want to give them a big shout out for helping us make all of this possible. And with that, we're just going to roll right into our weather for today. So we do have hail chances for the northern plains. Most notably, we have all risks possible through northern Iowa. But like I said, hail chances and wind chances across most of the North Plains today. And then it's going to be almost a repeat risk into tomorrow. Hail chances are sticking around through Iowa and Minnesota and making their way into Wisconsin. So we're going to take a look at that. And then last but not least, we do now have Tropical Depression 9 moving through the Caribbean and getting ready to make its way into the Gulf. So we're going to talk about our tropical chances for our two disturbances as well as our new depression and see what the forecast is for that over the next few days. But first, before we get into our weather, I'm going to talk about our upcoming event here. If you guys are new to us, we are hosting the Thunder Road Race for Recovery. This one is in Norman, Oklahoma at the Oklahoma Motorsports Complex. And we're going to race go-karts, guys. It's so much fun. They go super fast, so it's really exciting. We did this a few weeks ago as a company retreat, and it was so much fun. So if you guys want to sign up to race, you can do that. You can also sign up to sponsor this event. And all of the proceeds from this are going to the charity Roofers in Recovery. So it's all going to a great cause, and it's going to be a great time as well. So if you guys want to get involved in that, that can be done through the Linktree link to this video, and this is going to be on September 15th, so coming up quick here. Now into yesterday's storm reports before we get into today. So we had quite a bit going on across the country. A lot of these are sub-severe, but we did see some severe activity through the plains as well as through the East Coast. So we had quite a bit of wind moving through South Dakota into Minnesota last night, as well as a scattering of hail through the northern part of Nebraska. And then we got some hail reports up to golf balls through the western part of Kansas. So that was our Central Plains activity from last night. And then across the East Coast, just a little bit of wind that went through all the way from Alabama up into Virginia yesterday afternoon and evening. So nothing crazy, kind of what we expect to see this time of year for the nation. And then into today, we might see activity start to pick up a little bit through the northern plains. So current conditions right now are clear and sunny across the country. We are going to hop into the tropics first before we talk about our land risks. So this is Depression 9. You can see that spinning away here through the Caribbean, and they are getting a Air Force Hurricane Hunter aircraft that's going to head out and investigate this afternoon, and that's going to help us determine more about the track and intensity of that. We're going to talk about all that at the end of the show here. But for now, we're moving into our northern plains risk, and we've got quite a bit of activity moving through here through Iowa as well as Minnesota. right now, so this is all active. This is going to be moving through Minnesota right now. We got some heavy rain as well as looks like a severe thunderstorm watch through Minnesota right now. Plenty of cloud cover going on, and this will continue to develop through the afternoon and evening as we've got a cold front that's going to be fueling all this. Lots of daytime instability behind it through the Dakotas. So we will get some hail chances as well as wind and tornadoes possible through the area later this afternoon. So if we want to look ahead into our current temperatures, you can see that cold front really well. So we're sitting in the 80s down in Kansas and Missouri here, and then we get a sharp gradient up to 69 degrees once we get into Des Moines, 61 degrees in Fargo, 63 degrees in Bismarck. Sounds wonderful, honestly. It's been so hot and muggy here, so this is going to give us a little bit of relief from that heat and humidity, but as it does, it's going to force all those storms in that unstable environment below it to form this afternoon and evening. So this is that cold front that we've got setting up through the area right now, and then a little bit of a cold pool from those storms moving through as well. Then lots of instability ahead of that. We're not going to get too much into our Cape values into this afternoon and evening, but we do have quite a bit of instability sitting through Iowa, Minnesota, and South Dakota, and that's going to help us force those storms along with that cold front. And that's what this is going to look like into this afternoon. So going to kind of start to quiet down for a little bit, and then by 4:30, we're going to see additional storm development through the southern part of North Dakota as well as the southern part of Minnesota. That's going to kind of blow up into the afternoon and evening hours. We've got a complex moving here that might just scoot just north of Des Moines. If it gets far enough south, it could hit you there. Got another complex going through north central Minnesota by 8 p.m. More going through just south of Rapid City and central South Dakota by the evening hours. And then we do also have an additional risk up in Montana, and we've got a few isolated storms moving through that area, and that could help us get some hail into tonight. And then as that continues to roll on, just gets super messy, and then check that out, guys. By 3:30 a.m., starting to see all these cluster up. Minneapolis, you're going to have a loud start to your morning tomorrow as these storms pass through the Midwest and get ready to make way for our risk into tomorrow. Then for Maine, we also do have a hail risk for you guys, an August risk for Maine here. So by 5:30, seeing all those isolated storms once again, we get a couple of those scooting into the northern part of Maine. A couple of those could produce some $quarter to $half. We do have a little bit of instability moving through there as that cold front still is kind of sinking down into the Maine area. So those are going to start by 5:30, and then by 6:30 we get a messy band moving through the eastern part of Maine that should pass through the Bangor area before it dissipates into the early evening hours. Now this is all in central time, so it will be a little bit earlier than 9:30 that it starts to dissipate for you guys, or a little bit later, I guess, around 10:30 Eastern time that those storms start to dissipate, move off the coast, and you guys should have a quiet and pleasant night. So this is what we've got for you guys for our hail forecast into tomorrow, or into today. So we got $quarter to $half all the way through that risk area from Iowa and Minnesota all the way into Montana, as well as our northern Maine risk. So zooming on in here, if you guys are in Billings, probably a low-end chance of $quarter to $half. I think most everything is going to stay to the northeast of you guys. However, it could scoot far enough south that it hits you guys in Billings with some $quarter to $half sized hail. And then that orange swath is going to be where all those lapse rates or that environmental cooling is really strong, and that's what hail needs to form and be a little bit larger. So we could get ping pong to golf ball sized hail through the northwestern part or northeastern part of Montana. Then continuing with our $quarter to $half swath through Rapid City. Then things start to develop a little bit more as they get into that area of high instability through Minnesota, Iowa, and through South Dakota, Nebraska area. So that's where we could get our ping pong to golf ball sized hail, as well as higher hail chances through Sioux Falls and through Des Moines into this afternoon and evening, again, as we go through that area of higher instability. Then for you guys in La Crosse, probably going to be banded up. We saw those storms kind of clustering together as they moved through that area into the overnight hours. So La Crosse, low-end chance of $quarter to $half sized hail for you. Then if we scoot on over to the east into the Maine risk, we have $quarter to $half size possible, likely going to mostly be sub-severe through this. However, we could get a scattered quarter or two. I believe this is Hewlton, Maine. Low-end chance for you guys to get $quarters to $half into this evening, as well as gusty winds. Speaking of wind, this is what we've got for you guys for our wind risks. Same in Maine, and then sort of a similar risk here through the northern plains, all the way down into the far eastern part of Colorado. So let's just get on into it here. So zooming in, we've got Billings at a low end chance just because those storms are going to be pretty scattered. Same with Rapid City, but then once we get off into the Sioux Falls and Des Moines area, that's where we saw that heightened storm activity, those higher hail chances, just because there's going to be, like I said, more frequent storms through there. So Sioux Falls, Des Moines, you guys could get a couple of those clusters passing through, bringing you guys some gusty winds into tonight, as well as anywhere as far east as eastern Wisconsin into the Milwaukee area. Then if you guys are in Maine, same risk for you guys. So just with any of those storms that get collapsing, we could get some gusty winds through the area. And then once they band up and start moving off the coast, that's when you'll really see that wind threat start to pick up into the early evening hours. And then it'll diminish pretty quick as those move off the coast for you all. Then into tomorrow, kind of a repeat risk that we have going for you guys. We're gonna spare you guys if you are in the Dakotas for now. Looking mostly at Montana through the far western part of North Dakota. So if you guys were in this part of the risk today, should be a little bit quieter for you guys tomorrow. And then we do have another risk through Iowa and Minnesota. So this is what we're looking at by 7 a.m. We see that cluster of storms that formed last night. That's going to start to kind of dissipate, although we will still get areas of loud thunderstorms through the morning. Those are going to push off to the east. Then by 2 p.m., we start to see these isolated storms moving through Iowa. Those could be our supercell storms that could get us some larger hail into tomorrow evening and afternoon. So that's when we're watching that large hail threat through Iowa. Those are going to quickly cluster up, push off to the east, but we still will see some strong storm activity through the eastern part of Iowa into tomorrow. And then check this out through Montana. More isolated storms. Again, lots of instability through both of those areas into tomorrow afternoon. So with any of those, we could get some large hail going through. Those are going to continue to push off to the east as the evening goes forward, and then we'll start to see those kind of cluster up, get kind of messy through Montana. We're going to see what that does in a second here. Continuing to push off, I'll scoot over here, but continuing to push off to the east through Iowa, through Minnesota, and into Wisconsin. And with those, we do have a band of storms that's getting ready to move through the Milwaukee area tomorrow evening and tomorrow into the overnight. And with that, we could get some strong winds as well. But let's check out our northern plains risk here, because this is going to transition quickly into a wind threat. You guys know when we get that wind that's driving that out to the east, we start to see these reflectivity bands curl up into a bow. So that just means, again, that we've got strong winds that are driving those, and that is what we're getting through the Bismarck area by tomorrow at 11 p.m. We could potentially get some strong wind threats moving through the area into tomorrow as these band up and then move off to the east through the overnight hours for you guys in North Dakota. So that's what we got for our risk into tomorrow on radar. Let's take a look at that on our hail forecast here. So we don't have a wind threat out yet for you guys. It's going to mostly match what we've got for our hail forecast here. We would extend that wind threat a little bit farther east through North Dakota for you guys, as we do have that cluster and that band that's pushing through. Other than that, wind threat is going to be mostly the same as hail. So jumping into our hail forecast here. If you guys are in Sioux Falls, you guys are probably, or sorry, Des Moines. I don't know why that's Sioux Falls, but if you guys are in Des Moines, that is where you guys have the highest chance of seeing some ping pong to golf ball sized hailstones through that area with that high instability and with those isolated storms that we saw starting to track through by the early afternoon hours. Then once those storms get off to Madison, probably going to start to transition into a wind threat, so you guys are at a low chance for hail. Same with Minneapolis. Looks like most of that is going to stay to your southeast. Then if we push on up into our Montana and Dakota's threat, if you guys are in Rapid City, again, low end chance of quarters to $0.50 into tomorrow, as well as Glasgow. This whole area is in a quarter to $0.50 chance all the way into Minot. And then again, we will have a wind risk for you guys as well once things start to transition off into North Dakota. So hail and wind for you guys into today, and then a good chance for hail and wind for you guys again into tomorrow if you guys are in the North Plains or anywhere through the Midwest, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa. So we want to pay attention to our weather over the next coming days, and we will keep you guys updated. But we're going to jump into our Atlantic risks here because we do have a couple of areas of development. Looks like this one has updated into a high risk of formation over the next 2 to 5 days. So we do have this that's moving off to the western part of Africa. We do have this disturbance that's getting ready to push off to the northwest here. And as that continues to move into more favorable conditions, we will continue to see that develop. So we could possibly have another named storm coming out of this in the eastern Atlantic here, and then if we move up to the north, we've got just another one just right ahead of that, and that is going to push off to the west. So this one's really not going to play much of a risk for us in the U.S. We're going to see this kind of stay in the middle of ocean. As Frank said yesterday, it's just going to hit fish. So we got a 40% chance of formation over the next 2 days, 70% in the next 5 days. So we do have a high chance for both of these to develop into another tropical depression by the next 2 to 5 days. So could get a couple of named storms out of these two, but we do already have Tropical Depression 9 that formed in the Caribbean this morning. So right now, like I said, in the Caribbean, just south of the Yucatan Peninsula here, moving at 35 miles per hour. That is our threshold for a tropical depression here. Moving northwest at 13 miles an hour, so kind of taking its time getting out of the Caribbean and into the Gulf, but that is good. We need some time to prepare for that. So as that pushes up into the Cuba area, we're going to see that intensify quite a bit as it gets into those warmer waters, sitting at almost 90 degrees through the Gulf. So it's given it plenty of time, plenty of energy to fuel that storm development. We also have a very limited wind shear right now, lots of moisture available. It's got conducive conditions here in the Gulf for this tropical system to continue to develop. So as that moves into the Cuba area, we're sitting just shy of tropical storm force. We're at 65 miles, or just shy of hurricane force. We're sitting at 65 miles an hour. We need 74 for a hurricane, but check that out, guys. By Saturday at 8 a.m., 75 miles an hour. So this does become a Category 1 hurricane on this current forecast run. So Saturday at 8 a.m. is when we're expecting this to become a hurricane. Then it's going to continue to move off towards the Louisiana area. Right now we have a lot of model variety here. We got it all the way from Texas just to the east of Louisiana, but Louisiana does consistently have the highest chance of this making its way into the area. So we're watching that for you guys. Sunday by 7 a.m. we're moving into a Category 2 storm, 110 miles per hour. And then as it makes landfall, again, we're expecting it to be Category 2 storm making landfall in Louisiana. It's very early, guys. We do have a lot of model variability, as we said, on the track of this, and the track will affect the intensity a lot. So we don't want to get alarmed here. We do want to stay prepared, as this possibly could be making landfall in Louisiana over the late weekend. And then that's going to move off through the central Mississippi Valley here, and as that moves over land, it should start to weaken rapidly. However, we could still get some gusty winds and tornado chances with that. So, like I said, lots of model variability in this, and this is what that looks like here. So we have these storms. Each of these lines is a different model run showing the track of this storm. So that's going to move off of Cuba, and they are staying in pretty good agreement as it moves off of Cuba right now, staying pretty close together. But check this out, as we start to move towards Louisiana, we have a couple of these moving towards central Louisiana, one model moving off towards the eastern part of Louisiana, and then the CLP5 is just doing its own thing, going off into the eastern Gulf right now. So those are going to continue to show a little bit of variety as we continue to move towards the Gulf states, and things do change. So we are going to want to keep you guys updated on the track of that, which we will do, and we will let you guys know what to expect through that area. But this is a constantly developing situation, so we are watching it very closely for you guys, and like I said, we will keep you updated on that, as well as your severe chances. And if you guys want to make sure to stay tuned to all of that, you can follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can hit See First on Facebook so you never miss a live forecast. And also you can catch us when we do go live for severe storm coverage. And then if you guys want to get in contact with us, you can call us at 855-334-4245. You can also email us if you'd rather at info@hailtrace.com, or check out our website, hailtrace.com, for more details on who we are and what we do. And it is a pleasure giving you guys your daily forecasts, and we will keep you updated as always on your severe chances. But for now, I'm meteorologist Andrea Myers. Thanks for watching.